Thing that I see happen so incredibly often is that agency owners really are bogged down with an incredible amount of things day to day, that they're being pulled from one direction to another. And ultimately, the ends up in the point where you end up in the point where you feel like you have more things on your list at the end of the day than when you actually started. You start your day thinking, I'm going to get loads of stuff done, and ultimately, I'm really going to conquer today. And then the day ends up in a very frustrating place. The number one mistake I see happening ultimately is that you're actually doing loads of things that ultimately are not high impact or high value to your agency. So the opportunity from this training today is ultimately to allow for you to be able to have a methodology to actually think about what you currently have on your plate, allowing for you to really understand what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be. Not necessarily going to remove everything from your plate today, but just understanding what things you should and shouldn't be actually working on. So I want you to think about it this way, right? So let's say that you are going to be looking at investing, for example, and while you're going through considering what types of stocks or what type of investment vehicles you're going to be investing in. You're going to be looking at what ultimately, and if it's a short-term investment, you're looking to make money out of it, you're going to look for things that are ultimately going to provide lots of impact and where you're going to be putting your money, where you're going to be putting your resources. You need to be thinking about your time essentially the same. Where exactly are you investing your time right now in your agency? Where are you spending your time today? And so this is a very quick overarching process, but we're going to go through is we're going to do a little bit of a time study for you. Where are you currently spending your time? And what is the value of that time that you're currently spending? So in the worksheet, you have this. And what I want you to do is ultimately turn this into and do this in a Google spreadsheet or do this in an Excel document. But ultimately what you're going to go through and do is you're going to list out these items. You're working on ABC project. Is it admin? This is an admin project. You're working on XYZ project, and this is for ABC client. And then you have, so this is an administrative item here. And I should have done them backwards, but this is an admin item. This is a client item. And then you have your start time and your end time. And then your total time. So let's say that this was an hour and this was 2 hours. And then looking at whether this is actually something you should keep or do, or this is something that you should delegate. What I want you to be thinking about ultimately as well on the side is thinking about what ultimately this is providing impact to your agency. What is the actual monetary value of this particular activity for you? What is this ultimately doing in helping you grow your agency? How is this going to allow for you to move that needle to get to the next stage of your growth? Is this something that is extremely administrative and ultimately only has a value of $15, $25, $30 an hour of value to the business? Or what would it actually cost you to replace it? And where can you, if you were to have more time to be working on strategy for a client or doing more client work and removing this administrative time, which is normally the number one place to start looking at, is removing all the administrative function, not all, but a lot of the administrative function of being an agency owner from your plate, and then being able to work on more higher value revenue generating things, but being focused on actually being in a place where you are generating more impact to the business. As you continue to grow, you're going to want to extract yourself from client deliverables or just managing the team and continuing to go by and large there in order to allow for you to be able to replace those functions within yourself. So what exactly is it that you're doing today is what I want you to do. Complete this worksheet in a Google Sheet, or an Excel document. Allow for you to really understand where are you spending your time today and what items should you actually be removing. It's going to give you a phenomenal amount of insight to understanding what ultimately is the most important thing and the most impactful thing for you to be doing right now.